Do you want to know the absolute best spirits in the game? This video is for you. Thank you so much for clicking on this video, and I have showcased all of the spirits in the game recently, and many of you guys liked the video. I went back on it and spent hours retesting the good spirits with the best gears in the game to see their maximum potential. So ultimately, I can give you my ultimate top 12 spirits in Black Myth Wukong and save you from doing the guesswork and even save you your precious materials, as all of the spirits on this list are NG+4 tested, so you can be absolutely be sure that my recommendations will carry you through even on multiple new game cycles. Starting with my honorable mention and coming in just shy of the list, we've got the top takes bottom, bottom takes top. This spirit caught my attention because of its passive ability, adding a massive plus 45 defense boost, which increases your overall survivability while reducing your attack by 10. Yep, sure, the attack drop stinks a bit, but in later new game cycles, defense becomes valuable even more, as the higher your defense, the stronger your attack stat is. Thanks to the original Wukong armor, as it increases your overall survivability by increasing your defense while scaling your attack stat in the process. This spirit's key cost is high, so expect to only cast this once or twice during short boss battles, and the damage is weaker compared to the other high key cost spirits, but its ability to knock back enemies is a plus as well, while retaining its ease of use. You will be hitting your targets almost 95% of the time because the slam animation of the iron ball has very good tracking, and targets will get knocked down in the process. It's worth considering if you want to make a tank build at endgame with the highest defense stat possible. Starting our proper list at number 12 is the Mother of Flamelings. Its passive ability moderately reduces the cooldown of all spells that you have, which is a nice bonus, and in my testing, it doesn't have that much of an impact in terms of cooldown reduction. How I wish Game Science just added the exact values in the item description instead of using the words moderately, significantly, or massively, etc. in terms of improvements. I know there is currently a mod available that can put exact values on these, but I don't use mods in general, so I may need the time to learn how to install this tool. While the key cost of the Mother of Flamelings is on the higher side, so you will not be able to spam this one, but if you are going for a fire focus setup or rush setup on the other hand, this can pair nicely with these, as you can summon the Flamelings with your clones and overrun targets with raw damage and scorch damage over time. However, one thing that I noticed is that the projectile fire rate is lower compared to our next spirit. Going in for the top 11 spot, we've got the early spirits in the game, which is Guangmo. Its passive ability will boost your poison damage and poison resistance at the same time, which makes me wonder what the developers were thinking when they designed this passive. Using this spirit with the centipede set is such a way, since it will prevent you from getting poisoned even if you force yourself to get poisoned by using the death stinger soap. But if you've used Guangmo like Flameling while using a general build, it has its positives. Like the Flameling, the key cost is pretty high, but the fast moving projectiles that the Viper spits makes it totally worth it, especially for rush and clone setups like I mentioned. Also reliable when inflicting poison bane on enemies, so if you want to have that summoner type of gameplay, this spirit is for you. At number 10, the Apramana Bat will take the spot. While it is such a downer that it doesn't offer any passive effects, its quirks can make up for it. Having a high key cost is such a downer as well, since you can't really spam that much in regular boss battles. You can use it once or twice depending on your skill level, of course. The real selling point of this bat is its moderate damage and the ability to hit enemies with cold wind shockwaves. It also applies the chill status effects, which can lock enemies and is super helpful for stun locking targets in a pinch when combined with the immobilize spell. This is useful if you want to have time to set a big damage dealing attack combination, or if you just want to have a breather to heal or just to set up a spell. Since it is a range attack and it has this fast animation, you will be hitting your targets 100% of the time. Coming in at number 9 is the Tiger Acolyte, which is also one of my go-to early spirits in the game. A spirit with great passives, which gives you a massive 10% critical damage when you equip it, but the banger is the Tiger Acolyte's low key cost and it's fast to execute in combat, making it perfect for players looking for quick and easy damage dealing spirit. I can imagine this skill can perform so well in crit focus builds because it deals a single instance of damage, so when it crits, it will be solid, so you will be seeing huge numbers. Since its key cost is low, you will be able to use this spirit spirit frequently as you will be regaining ki after just few combo strings. With its ability to hit enemies without much effort, it's a solid pick for anyone trying to increase their overall damage output. Next up at number 8 is the Rat Governor. Having the passive ability to boost thunder damage makes it an awesome choice for thunder themed builds. One of the strongest builds in the game is a thunder based build, so this spirit will offer value especially at endgame. While also retaining a low key cost, you can summon it repeatedly, making this spirit super reliable in combat. Though its raw damage is noticeably weaker and some may see it as a trash, the reliable Thunderbane status effect it applies on a pinch is its best selling point. Even if you're not using a thunder based build, you can potentially increase your total damage output since the Thunderbane status element makes enemy lower their overall damage mitigation when they are suffering from this status element. Sliding into number 7 is the Scorpion Prince Spirit. Now this is a proper spirit for poison themed builds compared to Guangmo. Its sweet passive ability can considerably increase poison damage. What makes this spirit crazily good is its moderately key cost, so you will be able to summon it in combat a handful of times before the boss dies. It's super easy to use thanks to its quick animations. It's great for applying Poison Bane and has a fast strong sting that lets you hit enemies consistently. But I noticed that when you use it at point blank range, you will be missing your target a lot, so make sure there's a proper distance between you and the target to hit it 90% of the time. Even if you are not using a poison themed build and looking for something easy to use that can deal great raw damage on targets with damage over time, this spirit can serve you just fine. If you find this guide useful so far, subscribing to the channel, liking the video, and engaging in the comments helps me a lot as I do every task myself, and a considerable amount of effort has been poured into this and I appreciate your support. Kicking off the top 6 spot, the Babao Lang Lang will take the spotlight. Again, I hope I pronounced the name correctly, and right off the bat, you will not be using this spirit because of its passive ability as it is pretty useless in most cases. But the raw damage that this procs delivers more than makes up for it, especially if you will be using it at point blank range. Using this spirit requires a little bit of timing since you can easily miss your target, especially if you are dealing with fast moving ones, because the frog will stay in one position and hit its target in a cone-like range. There's a bit of RNG with which frog attacks will appear, but when the fire, poison, and ice frog appears, it will mean business. These type of frogs will be dealing great damage if all of the attacks hit the targets, while also inflicting them damage over time thanks to the poison and scorch status element bonus, while giving you more opportunities when the enemy freezes. However, you will not be able to use this in combat that frequently since it has a high key cost, so make sure it counts. Coming in hot at number 5 is the Flint Vanguard, which is a true DPS monster, having the passive of moderately increasing score damage and burn resistance, which makes its damage even more ideal. Upon usage, it slams enemies with the hard-hitting stomps attacks and eventually releases an explosive lava trails that can continuously deal damage and inflict scorch in the process. You can see that its overall damage is over the roof if all of its attack animations hits the target. The lava trails will not only hit once but multiple times, so if you are fighting large enemies, it will get soaked into it and suffers a lot of damage. However, the key cost is high, and using this spirit when fighting fast moving and small size enemies, there is a high chance that you will be missing the target. Missing the target will not be ideal thing as I find the key cost in the spirit very high, and it really takes a while for me to fill it up once again. Of course, we can have workarounds such as accessing a build with good fast key generation, but most of the time in normal fights, you will be able to use this spirit once in regular fights, mostly if you are fighting optimally. I also suggest casting the Flint Vanguard in combination with Immobilize spell or after using the Plantain Fan to ensure that you'll be able to land all of his attacks. Now coming at number 4, we've got the Non-Able, a fan favorite and also one of my go-to spirits as well, especially when in exploration or even at hard boss fights. With an awesome passive of +10 attack, 3% 100% crit chance and 6% crit damage, but a slight minus 100 mana penalty. With a passive ability this good, the mana loss can easily be disregarded. But what blows my mind is the spirit's low key cost requirement, which makes it special. You will be summoning this spirit almost every after a light combo string, so expect to use it in high frequency. What it does is this spirit performs different combo variety depending on how many light attacks the user performs when activating it in the middle. After the spirit attack animation, your light attack string will not be broken and you can easily transition into a strong finisher, which provides a lot of focus and deals great damage as well. Another thing that makes the non-able so good is its ability to stun lock targets or stagger them for you to have more DPS window uptime and straightly destroy them. This is possible by activating the spirit after performing the 4th light attack combo string. If you do it correctly, it will perform a flash headbutt and strong overhead pummel on its target and knock back them in the process. It's a dynamic, low-cost spirit that adds variety to your gameplay, whether you're building for crits or just want a consistent damage. This spirit is for you. Things are starting to get spicy, and coming in at number 3 spot is no other than the Wandering White Spirit, a personal favorite and a monster when it comes to overall burst damage and ease of use. Having a passive ability that provides a whopping plus 30 defense boost with no drawbacks is such a wonder. Remember, the higher your defense in NG+4, the higher your attack damage can get. Although the Wandering White has a high key cost requirement, its overall offerings to the table can outweigh its cost. This spirit's headbutt attack has a small AoE range at point blank, meaning you can hit multiple enemies at close range. Its overall attack animations is versatile, strong, and easy to land, making it a top tier choice for both defense focus and offensive builds. But you still need the right moment to cast the spirit since it has this short delay before doing the headbutt attack. Just missing the top spot and securing the number 2 best spirit spot in the game is the Mad Tiger. This Mad Tiger is an absolute beast because of its insane raw firepower, having the passive ability which increases attack by 15 and takes away 150 health. Once you get good in this game, it is easy to disregard this con since you will be leaning into the offensive side of things more. This spirit can become a powerhouse, dealing an AoE damage and a single target range attack finisher. I see the Mad Tiger on par with Wandering White, but what makes it special and better is you can deal an insane range damage, especially if you want to cancel boss AoE attacks from a distance by making them flinch. If the range attack crits, you will be seeing very high damage numbers easily. Though it has a high key cost, the raw firepower this spirit brings to your fights makes it an absolute worth of the trade-off. And now the moment that we've all been waiting for, coming in at the number 1 spot and taking the title of the best spirit in the game overall is the Gore-Eyed Taoist. This spirit is incredible in all aspects and it can match almost every build out there. Especially at endgame, you will be seeing its true potential. Spellbinder setups will surely appreciate the Gore-Eyed Taoist because the more mana you have, the more attack stats you gain when the spell is active, and this Taoist passive ability increases your mana by 15 points. What it does is it leaves a ward that can continuously buff your attacks while you are inside the buff's range. It affects your clones as well, so you can easily see how your damage can easily be multiplied by a lot. It works wonders with one-shot and burst setups, giving you an insane damage boost if you already unlock the Unified Minds talent, which allows your clones to mimic your powerful moves. So when you perform a full focus charge heavy attack and the Taoist buffs you and your clones, your enemies will be deleted in a flash. And I am not kidding. I'm showing you insane clips right now showing the damage, and it's not even optimized. If you are not interested in this burst setup, on the other hand, you can even let your clones tear through the bosses by themselves while also doing your own thing. While the cast windup time is a bit of a downside since if not used correctly, enemies can cancel its animation. The payoff is simply massive if you can disregard this. You can easily cast the spirit away from the boss as a workaround as well. Another downside is the ward's range, so you will be forced to stay stay in the range so you can get soaked in the buffs while also luring the target to come at you. This is not a hard thing to pull off after a series of practices, however, but since the ward stays for a seriously long time, it will give you an ample amount of time to pull off hard hitting moves. Even without Spellbinder, or if you just wish to fight conventionally, the attack boost from the spirit is too good to ignore. In my NG+4 build, my regular attacks went up from 268 to 362, and while a whopping 473 attack stat when Spellbinder is active and is not even fully optimized. The Gore Eye Taoist is a top tier choice for any player looking to take their damage to the next level. But if you are not interested in buffing strategies or techniques, go for the ones I mentioned before and you can never go wrong. There are a lot of good spirits I was not able to mention or put on this ultimate list, so if you have other great suggestions, let me know in the comments and I want to know your thoughts. Which spirit are you going to try first? And as always, don't forget to like the video and engaging in the comments when you can, as it helps me a lot. Subscribe as more guides coming, and if you want to know the best transformation for you or know the best farming spots in the game, these videos are for you. Thank you so much for watching and I will catch you on the next one.